One of the crown jewels of the Mulu caves is Sarawak Chamber, which is one of the largest cave rooms in the world. During the second British-Malaysian speleological expedition to Sarawak in 1980 and 81, there was an effort to better understand the hydrology of the region, and dye tracing was conducted to try to verify that a large sink on the east side of Gunung Api in Hidden Valley had a resurgence in Clearwater Cave to the west. During the trip around the southern end of the Api Ridge to reach Hidden Valley, 3 additional resurgent streams were noted in the large limestone buttress known as Batu Nigel. The middle of these resurgent streams comes out of a tall cave entrance with strong air that was first discovered by Hans Friedrich and Danny, who named it Lubang Nasib Bagus, or Good Luck Cave. It was soon determined that the water that sinks in Hidden Valley, in fact, flows out of Nasib Bagus, rather than Clearwater Cave, and into the Melanau Paku River. To reach the cave from park headquarters requires an 8-kilometer hike through the jungle, and is generally only done during dry conditions due to the many Melanau Paku stream crossings, and the need to navigate strong current and deep pools within the cave itself. In January 1981, the British-Malaysian expedition members established a camp near the entrance to Nasib Bagus, and were accompanied by a film crew led by Sid Peru, who documented the discovery and exploration of the cave in the classic documentary Hollow Mountain of Mulu. The film crew had to turn back at an obstacle known as the Plunge Pool, and the team of Hans Friedrich and Andy Eves carried on up the stream passage until it grew to 70 meters in diameter, and the stream disappeared into breakdown. Later, Andy, along with Dave Checkley and Tony White, surveyed into Sarawak Chamber with approximate dimensions of 700 meters by 400 meters, with ceiling heights greater than 100 meters high. They weren't aware it was a single massive chamber until they completed surveying around the perimeter and circled back to the stream passage where they had entered the room. During this year's expedition, we planned an overnight trip to Sarawak Chamber to do some photography and look at a few climbs. There was a significant rain event just a few days prior to our trip, so it was anticipated that the first 500 meters of the cave's stream passage would have deep water. A raft was constructed using inner tubes to transport our packs through the initial deep water section to a point where the gradient and current increases. The passage beyond that ascends a fun and challenging series of cascades and pools for another kilometer before the passage widens and the roof soars. A LiDAR scan of Sarawak Chamber showed that it easily is the largest cave room in the world by area, and is roughly tied with the Miao Room in China as the largest in volume. After establishing camp, we headed to the other side of the room to look at a ceiling lead along an obvious fault line that is the path the water takes to enter the cave. That evening I climbed 30 meters up a vertical wall, and we returned the next morning where I climbed another 20 meters before the rain began. In less than a minute, the clicking sound of cave swiftlets was replaced by the roar of water as the fissure I was climbing suddenly turned into a raging waterfall just 5 meters to my right. Throughout the chamber, water started pouring in from countless holes and fissures. After quickly rappelling to the floor, we made radio contact with the photo team that was working near the entrance passage at the bottom of the room, but they were already well aware the cave was in flood, and they could see that the river had quickly risen to 5 meters or more, and that exiting the cave as we had planned to do around this time was now impossible. We met back at the campsite where we waited for the rain to stop and the water level to drop. Vino, Inar, and the team of porters spent an uncomfortable night on a ledge above the stream passage where they monitored the water level. Vino radioed at 3 a.m. and advised that we should try to make our way out while there was an opportunity.
She wanted to go behind.
The final 500 meters was too deep to touch bottom, so we had to swim. We emerged into the jungle as light was breaking at 6 a.m., tired and hungry, but glad to no longer be trapped.